Yeah, I do. Tonight's going to be a rather unique and different experience because what we're trying to intake at the Natural Fudge Factory, the lattice sitting around you right now, that spot that everyone says is the coolest in all of Hollywood. We're going to try and bring you a different format. We're going to bring you some performers and people involved with different aspects of life, do some good interviews and see some good performances and try and get you to know a little bit more about the people that are around you. And John Roberts will be your host. I am the BubbleMan, your co-host. I have absolutely no idea how I've earned my namesake. Well, that too, but... Look, it's the Good Witch of the North, and she's come to help us. Oh, Good Witch, what news do you bring? What joy do you bring? Ah, bitch. Yeah. We do have lots of wild guests for you tonight. We've got some people from an organization called HEMP, which is to help eliminate marijuana prevention. Yeah, so give them a hand, give them a hand. I don't want to take any stances myself. I don't want to say pro or negative, but let's just say when I die, I don't want to be buried. I want to be cremated, and I want my ashes mixed in with a pound of really good pot. And at my funeral, I want my friends to smoke me. Yeah. And we'll be talking about a lot of different topics in that range, of course. Legalization, a big question we'll be talking about. And of course, as you know, a big drive right now to legalize marijuana. And a lot of people say, you know, for smoking, but not just for that, for production purposes, believe it or not. You can make a variety of products from hemp, from, well, you'll find out later, from clothing, all the way down to paper. You don't have to cut down trees anymore. You actually just make the hemp into paper. Right. Did you know the Constitution of the United States was written on hemp?
Yeah.
Yeah, our Constitution is a giant doobie, folks. Things go wrong, just break it down, smoke it. Ben Franklin flew a kite, the lightning storm with a metal key attached. He was sober, yeah. How you doing up here? Good? Yeah. We're going to get you started. We're going to bring up our hosts, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a big rebel-rousing round of applause for Mr. John Roberts.
Check my out. Here you are, Todd. This is a short mic here. I didn't anticipate this. Okay.
Yeah, long ones are better.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Todd the BubbleMan, and welcome to my show, John Roberts, here on Wednesday, the 16th, the 9th. Let's back up 7th, the 9th of January in the new year, 1991. It's exciting. Thank you for being here, all you guys, and gee, it's a variety of reasons why we're gathered to present to you a number of songwriters, singers, comics, intellectuals, movements. As Todd mentioned tonight, we have an interesting guest here from a movement called HEMP, which has helped eliminate marijuana prevention. Maybe I'll sit down too. It looks pretty good, Todd. Now, this is our first show, so you have to bear with us to some degree. Not a lot. But anyway, there. So we have the hemp people here tonight. Todd was doing a good job describing who's here, that we'll be able to get an in-depth look at what they're talking about, what they mean. They seem to be very serious about what they're saying. And that's why I was really impressed when I examined some of the material that they presented me in recent weeks. In fact, to the point that I'm really excited about talking about those issues. But before we do that, we'd like to tell you a little more about who's here tonight. Michael Devine is here. Comic, stand up, boy.
Yeah, Michael Devine. Yeah. Michael Devine is an interesting facet for his personality that we're going to find out here on stage tonight.
Oh, that's exciting, because I think I know what you're talking about, and we'll save that for a punch line later, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't, but they will.
Okay, well, good. That's a little personal story with Mr. David Devine. Well, Michael Devine will be here in a minute.
He goes by David now.
Oh, he does? But later tonight we have an exciting alternative rock band, and we're going to talk to both these rock band leaders and just see what they mean when we say alternative. There's so much talk about labels and who am I and what are you and all the rock styles that are happening today, that it's interesting to get right out of the horse's mouth, the bands themselves, let's put them on the spot and ask them the meanings of what they say. Progressive, alternative. You've heard all these titles. What kind of rock are you? Power pop, psychedelic, and all these definitions. So we'll get into that a little bit with the two bands that we have here. Jasmine Sunrise, all original alternative rock band, and also Emulator, which is an all original alternative with a funk flavor, let's say, right down here too. Tonight we also have Randy Chief Eagle Eye.
There he is, Chief Eagle Eye.
He has that name, for there's a story that goes with that, and he'll explain that later, so we'll get commentary from the chief. We also have tonight Casper from...
Casper,
that is, not, excuse me, from the hemp. Is it a society? Well, we'll ask you that, from hemp. He's here tonight, and we're looking forward to seeing the Hollywood Independent paper come in. Are they arrived, is it?
They're on their way in. They just called from the press van.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to starting this show off, and we want to talk to our first guest here tonight, and I guess that's going to be, shall we bring up Michael Devine? Shall we go right to the marijuana? Who wants to get some marijuana first? Or shall we go ahead with a sense of humor?
Dude, me, I want to go first.
Well, Andy jumped up, Michael jumped up.
Yeah, let's get Mike Devine up here. You know, he's an eager guy.
Please welcome Michael Devine.
Mike Devine, you can
So, Michael.
Yes, Dr. Viscott.
Let me just move this out of the way for a moment here. It's good to have you on the show tonight. You look like you're dressed for a rainstorm. I mean, is it going to rain out there tonight, or what's happening here?
Yes, Dr. Viscott, it's going to rain.
Dr. Viscott, huh? Well, now you've been doing comedy here for how long in the Hollywood area?
Oh, I don't know, about a year and a half.
Yeah.
A year and a half, yeah.
Maybe you should address the house themselves, give you a moment to do a stand-up here, and then come back and chat.
give him a second.
Do you want to welcome? Oh, here he is, Andy, Michael,
David, Andy Devine.
Thanks. I hope I can get the ratings up this first show. Yes, my name is Mike Devine. I work at, in fact, I'm the first person you see at the Palace nightclub in Hollywood. I'm the guy outside begging for money. Forced laughter, I love it. Anyway, it's good to be here tonight. I see a lot of faces in the crowd. I know Maggie. Say hi, Maggie. Me and Maggie were in an acting class together. That's about it. That's as far as we went. Right? She was never in class. She was with this guy. No? Different guy? Oh, what guy were you with this year? Oh, you're Wednesday. All right. Okay. All right. I was going to talk briefly tonight because I was just here for the interview. Actually, I'm wearing something from the Charlie Manson line of clothing tonight. This one's called Satan's Retreat, and I wore it especially for tonight. How's the salad? Is the salad pretty
Fantastic.
fantastic?
Who made it?
Who made the salad?
Caesar.
Caesar. Anyway, I'm glad to be a part of this new show that John's trying to put out here, and you know, that's why I'm here tonight. I wasn't going to do any comedy or anything. I was just going to come and, you know, do the interview. Yeah, let's go to the interview. Oh, tell a joke? Okay. All right. Let's see. Anyone got a joke? Anyone got a joke they want to share with me so I can tell to the rest of the people? I'm not a joke teller.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I had a job as a bartender.
Okay, I had a job as a bartender. Okay.
Yeah, a customer came in and asked me for a Bud Light.
A customer came in and asked me for a Bud Light.
So I gave him Mexican marijuana.
So I gave him Mexican marijuana.
Yeah, he saw the light.
And he saw the light.
The owner didn't know.
The owner didn't know.
Yeah, he said, you might be a comedian. But you ain't gonna be bartender here.
You may be a comedian, but you ain't gonna be a bartender here anymore. Let's go back to the interview.
Okay, there's Mike Devine. Sit down for a moment, Mike. I know there's an interesting story here.
Yeah, the reason that Mike is so famous in Hollywood is not because of that swift, spontaneous joke delivery. Because and the chief writes all his material. And doesn't it look like Burt Reynolds of Skid Row? Isn't this incredible? It's just like, you know, Gator failed, the next thing you got that hat on. Mike, tell him about what happened while you were working at the Palace just a few short months ago.
That doesn't work. Okay, sure. Humpty Dumpty with hair.
Thank you.
Well, it was April 10th, 1989, and I was just a regular parking attendant working next door to the Palace when who showed up? But what's his name?
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson did make my night. Let's just say he made me some money. Anyway, that's a later story. Anyway, it was over a parking space. He wanted to park somewhere. With the owner of the Palace's wife, his parking space, and I told him to put park there, man. You know, actually I told his driver, and he came out with his big bodyguard and started hassling, one thing like another, so we hit him.
Wow, did you feel a little bit like Robin Givens at that point?
Pardon me?
Did you feel a little bit like Robin Givens at that point?
Just a little bit. Not too much, though.
Did you feel anything at that point, Mike?
No, all I saw was, stars and, I was like dazed. I couldn't believe it.
Because John and I were talking before the show, and we were saying, you know, we watched the fights on TV, we say, you know, I get in the ring with Mike Tyson for $1 million, I get in the ring with him for $1 million. But you did. Yeah, it truly frightens us.
Yeah, that was a story that was known all over. I think you made an awful lot of papers in town too. So that's how you got your start in a way, or it's helped you.
Kind of helped me.
And the hat helps cover up the dent in his head.
Well, we'll come back. Let's bring on our next guest now.
Mike, thanks for coming in,
Thank you very
stopping
much.
over and seeing us.
Thanks a lot.
Mike Devine, give a big hand.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah.
You're here, okay, fine. Okay, we want to bring in now, one thing that we've always had here at the Natural Fudge are characters. We've always been able to get some real colorful characters here to do their thing, and some of them are really inspirational to the point where you have a great deal of fun and it's thrill. You know, you've seen some real good ones down here lately.
Yeah.
And we are about to present one such guy for a few moments to come on up on stage now. We'll bring up the chief. Shall we bring up the chief?
Bring up the chief.
Okay, here's, would you welcome Chief Eagle Eye.
All right.
Now, Chief, where did you get this name, Chief? You don't look like an Indian to me. I mean, from what tribe? Are you an Indian or American Navajo, or where'd you get this name, Chief? Are you an actual chief?
No, I'm not. I'm Indian in spirit because I respect the earth and I respect people, and because I
Wait a
don't.
minute, can you hear him, folks out there, what he said? Can you hear him or what? Because I want to make sure you guys are comprehending what we're saying here.
Well, I say this, but
The question is, where did he get his name, Chief Eagle Eye? I mean, is he an actual chief of a tribe or what? And your response was what then?
well, I'm Indian in spirit because I have respect for the earth and respect for people, and I don't speak with a forked tongue.
Well, I can appreciate that. Any man that speaks with a forked tongue, you can't really.
There's a speech impediment, yeah.
Well, that's a saying that goes way back. Man that speaks with a forked tongue. So you seem to be saying something to us indirectly. Are you saying like there's someone who does speak with a forked tongue? I mean,
The people that say marijuana is isn't any good for you. Marijuana is a healthy herb created by nature.
So you're saying that marijuana and smoking marijuana, or are you talking about getting high, or are you talking about some other use of marijuana?
Well, it has a...
Or hemp? Well, when we say the word,
Well,
go ahead.
it's good for you physically, for your heart, for your, any stress you may have, for your glaucoma, even puts herpes in remission. And it's good for you spiritually too, because instead of taking everything you can get, you just take what you need.
So this is all your opinion. I mean, what makes you think that this is true? How are we to know what you're saying is authentic and genuine? I mean, there are people who say that it's a madness. In fact, there was a movie or a film made called Reefer Madness that said that not only is it illegal, but of course you're playing with your life. I mean, it's deadly. And it goes on to harder drugs too, and you can really end up harming yourself and others. Once you start smoking pot, it will contribute to a negative lifestyle and bring on an even more detrimental lifestyle, the hard drugs like cocaine and heroin and all of that.
Well,
I mean, is there any authenticity to this?
Absolutely
This is
not.
what they say.
Absolutely not. I've smoked marijuana for 30 years. In fact, I may have smoked more marijuana than anybody in the world. And in fact, it's kept me away from alcohol, cocaine, and everything else that's bad for you.
Well, now, what about the fact that our own government outlaws it? I mean, aren't they outlawing it for some good reason? I mean, they must know what's good for us when they say, let's outlaw marijuana, because it's not something that's going to help you in your lifestyle. It's illegal, and you might get criminal damages brought to you, and also, what's the reason why they say we don't have anybody from...
Too damn high.
Well, no, it's because it's for corrupt criminal reasons. They want to protect the plastics industry. It's the plastics industry. They want to make the world safe for synthetics, so they eliminated the use of hemp and marijuana.
So what you're saying then is that the hemp or the marijuana is a more natural source of fuel as opposed to the plastics or else the oil and the petroleum-based products, which are not so biodegradable, and of course they're caustic, and you say there's two distinct products here that could be pretty much a mainstay in the energy source.
Absolutely. It'd be, instead of using fossil fuels which pollute the earth, we could have our alternative energy policy of hemp. Originally, the diesel engine was invented to run on vegetable oil, and it can be run on hemp oil. And instead of cutting down forest trees, we can use the hemp to make paper. Instead of making plastic clothing, we can make clothing out of hemp.
Well, now tell me, do you have any funny stories relating to any of this here that you can relate to the house? Because you're known for your sense of humor. I mean, is this guy, who knows this guy already? This is the first time we really had him on stage and examined his head here, his brain power.
It's been examined in other places.
Sorry?
It's been examined elsewhere, but not here.
Now look at these pins on his
I
head.
never let a psychiatrist examine me. They're all nuts.
Look at this, it says support the Christic Institute lawsuit.
Right, they're trying to put the CIA out of business. You know, the CIA, that's the Criminal Institute of America, and they've been the ones committing assassinations.
Well, you're certainly not for any overthrow of the government or anything like that.
Oh, no.
I mean, you want to live within the rights of the democracy. You're just looking for the ridiculous...
We're trying to stop the crime and corruption.
I see.
And Chief, you also have a very interesting role in the fact that you help reform with a band that is
Right.
pro-marijuana. Want to talk about that?
Yes, there's a band called Just Say Yes, and we have T-shirts. It's Just Say Yes to Marijuana. It's headed by Reverend Bud Green, and I'm the opening comedian for the Just Say Yes band. And we always we treat marijuana as a sacrament. To us, it's a religion, and we always smoke marijuana before, during, and after the performances.
Okay, so can we get one of those T-shirts later?
Sure.
Oh, good. Then we'll get him to come back up later. Let's bring on our next guest at this
Absolutely.
time, and you'll come up in a while and do
Sing
another
the
set.
song.
Are you ready for a song now?
Yeah. I wrote a song to legalize marijuana. I call it my hoot and holler and hump stump and hallelujah hippie song, and my impression of Earl Haggard on marijuana. And it goes like this. Well, not so humble hippie from Humboldt County, and we don't make no moonshine in their hills, but we do grow that healthy herb called marijuana, and wish we all could enjoy it cheap and legal too. Now we don't say yippee to pharmaceutical poisons, and we tell our kids to forget about alcohol and tobacco too. And we wish you all would call your local elected crook and say forget the lottery and legalize the pottery today. Now we don't burn no American flags up in Humboldt County, but we would like to wash it clean of crime and corruption and not saddle our children with this pile of debt that was created by horse manure and greed. Well, we're not so humble hillbilly from Kentucky, and we don't make no moonshine in their hills, but we do grow that healthy herb called marijuana, and wish we all could enjoy it cheap and legal too.
Great. Well done. That's it. Chief Eagle Eye, doing a great job. He'll be right back. And he's just hopping off the stage right now.
And John,
you know, this is the guy you kind of got to get to know little by little.
And you know, the chief made a lot of sense. You know that they just did a survey that children are starting to smoke marijuana at an earlier and earlier age. They found this out because now apparently they have Disney rolling papers.
Are you kidding me? Oh, that's great. Well, I was going to say, if anybody out here had any viewpoints, but we don't want to put anyone on the spot spontaneous like that. But the chief, you kind of have to get to know little by little. He'll be a guest to us now. Hi, look at these nice people.
Next week he'll be committed, but he's a good man, that chief.
No, he's good. You got to kind of get to know him, I think, little by little. You can see he's a busy sort of guy, and he's got that mind always going, you know.
Like Manson.
Yeah.
Hey, give me a break. Okay,
That's good. We'll have you back in a while. Right now, let's remind you that shortly we'll have the alternative rock interview here briefly, and then we'll go on with the alternative rock band called, not the Emulator will be later, but, right, Jasmine Sunrise. Oh, Terry Jackson is here. That's nice. Stand up and take a bow. Very funny, impressionist comedy, Terry Jackson.
And he's rich, ladies.
Glad you could make it fine. Right now, let's go ahead and bring to the stage, will you please welcome intellectual humor and comedy of Mr. Steve Epstein. Are you here? Where is
That's
he?
Steve's on his way. Steve, I'm going to give you a little intro to Steve. Steve Epstein, very, very funny man. We're going to talk to him about lots of funny things. Hello, Steve.
You didn't introduce me at the beginning, so I thought hopefully you forgot about it.
No, we're glad you're in and delighted that you're here, and I see
Thank you very much.
just immediately you've got the marijuana leaf, not a real one, but a picture of one on his vest here.
Yeah, this is actually, this jacket is made from 55% hemp.
No.
And 5%
Is that right? You got a match in there?
Actually, you can't smoke it, unfortunately.
Is that right? Well, where does it say that on there?
Well, hey, you can make me undressed.
No, that's all right. Oh, it does. My God, it's true. The tag says 55% hemp.
Interestingly,
Now, where could it be grown at? Because it's illegal to be grown here. Where is that made? I didn't see the rest of the tag.
well, I'm not going to show you any more of the tag. I don't know, I just bought it. But interestingly, the...
Green set? A green set?
Yeah, green sale.
Green set. I know the word cannabis actually comes from the word cannabis, and the original blue jeans were made from the hemp. So in fact, it was the nature fiber used for making clothes on the planet before cotton gin.
Well, before you go on, let's establish your position here. Now, are you a member of this hemp organization?
Actually, I don't know.
Kind of
Are you just
I don't have a
sympathetic?
card. I'm extremely sympathetic.
Are you sympathetic?
Are you a communist?
I think just being on the show, everybody should be sympathetic towards me.
Towards you. Well, we're here, we've got Steve here tonight for a reason. I mean, he's our guest here, of course, but what's interesting about having him here is his viewpoint and his standpoint on this marijuana. It centers around this pot,
And he
or
buys
else
us
his hemp, doesn't it? Isn't that where the main thrust
Well,
of it is?
I'm a stand-up comedian, and I just, I find, prohibition as just a very humorous issue, not, allowing us to, just the idea that we're not grown-ups and can make our own decisions, I find very humorous. But then on top of that, the fact that this is, in fact, a plant, the hemp plant is the only plant that can make this country energy independent, and is the major, is the major source of biomass this planet.
Well, before you go on with that technical point, it bears merit to the extent where it's so convincing that you can't help but to go along with that. So for you folks out there that haven't familiarize yourself with some of these statistics. They're startling discoveries here. Now, they're made available through this Help Eliminate Marijuana Prohibition movement, and they've got a book here. I don't know if you know anything about the book.
I gave it to you.
Oh, that's right. That's the guy.
And when the video comes out,
Good one.
when the video comes out, it's going to be
Well,
cool.
why don't you give me this book?
I'm
It's
editing,
got-
I hope.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute, Steve. Now, let me tell the people, not only did he give me the book, but he's got a videotape and an audio cassette by Mr. Hugh Downs that'll fascinate you. Well, why don't you just give us a point or two about...
Well, I mean, I'll just talk. I like talking about lies in my comedy, and I found some very interesting ones on this issue. For instance, you may remember that anti-marijuana commercial with the brainwaves. The first time I saw this, I was watching it with my teenage cousin, and all they show on the TV is these brainwaves. And the voiceover goes, "This is the brainwave of a 14-year-old on marijuana." And my cousin goes, "That dude is hyper. He should get stoned."
Yeah.
And then the next brainwave pattern goes like this, and the voiceover goes, "This is the brainwave of a 14-year-old on marijuana." And my cousin goes, "See, I told you." Yeah, I think I fucked that up. But the thing is, that commercial, they had to yank it off the air because it was a lie. In fact, it wasn't, the machine wasn't even plugged in. It was plugged into a guy in a coma. And then another interesting thing I found was Ronald Reagan said that according to, well, he goes, this is a couple of years ago, he said, "Well, according to the latest scientific evidence, marijuana definitely causes brain damage." And as we know, Reagan was always up on the latest scientific evidence. But what in fact they found out is, well, the latest scientific evidence, and I got this out of this book, that they were talking about was this test where what they did was they strapped these little 30-pound spider monkeys into chairs. And on the face of these little 30-pound spider monkeys, they strapped these masks. And in a period of 5 minutes, they pumped in 60 joints worth of primo marijuana smoke, which didn't actually hurt the monkey. What hurt the monkey was no oxygen. 6 minutes without oxygen, you know. Reagan might as well have been going around strangling little baby spider monkeys, you know.
Steve, do you know where I can maybe get a job being that spider monkey?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, right here, I think. Anyway, go ahead.
Because I know Steve off the stage. I know that you do believe in what you say. And aside from the marijuana issue, Steve is also very big in censorship and the fact that people are trying to limit what we can say as comedians on stage. And you might also want to tell us about the group you had back in Texas that might also relate to that as well.
Well, we had a group called the Texas Outlaw Comics. We do shows like Outlaw Comics Get Religion and Outlaw Comics on Drugs. But what I found interesting about the, well, I did a show, for instance, in Orange County, and I talked about drugs during the show, and then I was fired, and the owner said specifically, there's two interesting things. The owner said, first of all, that I was talking too much about drugs, so they weren't drinking enough. As if alcohol is a drug. And the other thing was, she said, "And don't you know you should never talk about drugs in Orange County?" And but one thing I did say on that show, and this wasn't really a comedy thing, but it turned out to be true. I said that yeah, I found it interesting that what was happening with the cocaine is because they were making cocaine more difficult to come by. The crack production is going up because well, you can make speed in this country. And I'm sorry, ice is made from speed, whereas crack is made from cocaine. And so what's happened, and ice makes crack look like a waltz through Disneyland. So what's happening is that because you can in fact make ice from speed, you can make the speed in this country, they don't have to import the cocaine. And so the week after I said this, they had the biggest bust of speed in California's history, and half of it had been made into ice.
But these things are all really lethal, comparatively speaking, to marijuana.
Well, I mean, the marijuana is totally not.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with it. Well, look, do you have a funny story or something that can relate to these people? Because we want to move on and talk to the director.
Well, why don't we just move on and talk to the director?
I have a funny story.
He's a shy guy, but he's a good man.
Well, for a couple of these where's Casper? Is he here now?
Well, let's say, Steve, thanks for coming over. Give him a hand.
Hey, Steve, be careful going out because we're all locked
Yeah, when you
up.
came in, you tripped over the light panel, Steve.
Casper, come on up.
Still, folks, the most lethal drug known to man is Ernest Borg.
Here's Casper Leacher from the
Casper Leacher.
Society. Go ahead and have a seat, Casper. We'd like to get a chance to talk to you now to focus in on this issue and see what the epitome is. Now, just exactly what is it that you're bitching about this pot here and people smoking it and prohibition? I mean, let's face it, it's illegal. Not only that, but it's been commonly known. Well, it's true. It is illegal. If anyone gets caught smoking it, they're going to fine on the minimum. And not only that, but it's been known that it leads to worse things, such things as crack and heroin and all these addictive drugs that cause corruption at the schools and all these youngsters. And you're trying to promote their use of this marijuana to lead up to even greater abuse, and to the point where they have families are all torn apart and they have no. As total destruction. Now, just how do you validate this?
Well, first of all, it's not really a gateway drug. If you want to look at gateway drugs, you might check out chocolate first. It's the first thing you become addicted to when you're a child, and as you grow older, you go on to other things. And what it is a habit that you pick up. More so often it leads to a gateway drug, not the drug itself. Marijuana is not a drug, it's a herb.
What do you mean gateway? What does that mean, gateway?
Gateway means it's something that leads to something else.
You're trying to say, are you saying that marijuana is not a gateway drug?
No, it's not.
Well, why does everyone else on this earth tell us that it is? It's common knowledge that they tell us that it will lead to worse things. Haven't you guys heard this? Have anyone heard this?
It's never been based.
I've heard it before.
It's never been based scientifically. It's never been proven. Actually, marijuana, i.e. hemp, is not physically addictive. If anything, it's psychological addictive, but not even that. Such as cigarettes, you have nicotine in there. There's no nicotine in hemp. There's nothing addictive to it. It's been proven that people who smoke hemp, as we like to refer to it, live 7 years longer than people who don't know drugs whatsoever. And people who smoke cigarettes and smoke marijuana, i.e. hemp, live 1 year longer than people who smoke cigarettes only.
Let me interject for a moment if I can. Now, aside from the recreational use of this plant, hemp, the facts that are presented in this book here, Emperor Wears No Clothes. And the facts that are to listen to when you hear a Hugh Downs audio tape, which I have in my pocket that I've heard, and these are astounding. And the facts that you presented in your videotape regarding other use of marijuana besides the recreational use, no question about it. I'm more than sympathetic. I support the entire issue. That's my standpoint. How do you guys feel about it out there in the house? Besides recreational use or any use?
How do you think marijuana
What's the
should be
popular belief out here? Anybody who's against marijuana use or who out there is for it?
It's got Republicans.
It's gotten to the point
That was
that
spontaneous. That was unrehearsed and honest.
now see, it's gotten to the point that if we don't legalize hemp, we're going to end up losing our planet. You know, for what we pointed out, for every 1 acre of hemp that you grow, you save 4 acres of trees by utilizing it for paper pulp, which is also biodegradable. By doing so, you save our ozone layer. By saving our ozone layers, you save our rear ends, and by doing so, you save our next generation. If we don't make this plant legal, we're going to lose our lives. We're going to lose our planet.
I think that's amazing the way he presents these facts, and it's so true. If you actually think about the things that he's saying, now how could these people learn more about these points that you're talking about? Do they have to get the book or just...
Well, the book...
How do you learn more about this?
Well, the book has the facts in it. The facts have been hard to locate in the past several years, but now they're surfacing more and more through other hemp organizations. You can contact us here at the hemp organization, Alabama Marijuana Prohibition, in the Venice area, and we'll be happy to connect you to groups in your community.
Okay, now do you have, so he's here now tonight, if anybody wants to talk to Casper, and do you have any of these books available for sale today?
No, I didn't.
All right, well, I want to tell you folks, they taught me, I have something to say, but next Tuesday, upcoming, 6 days from today, this coming Tuesday, we do have the hemp benefit here at the Fudge. So they've got a whole array of comics. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the, oh wait, you don't know about the show.
It was given to me when I was on the planet.
Yeah, well, we've got a big show. You need to talk
Yeah, just two quick things. One, back to the nicotine issue with cigarettes. What is the percentage of nicotine in marijuana? Isn't there a certain percentage of nicotine in the marijuana that
0.01%. Doesn't even matter.
it's incredibly immeasurable? And also, Casper, I wanted to ask you, before we wrapped up, is there anything else that you wanted to tell everybody about the
Yeah.
organization?
Now, here's our viewpoint. We know what we say is true, but we offer a challenge to the whole world that if you can prove anything that we are saying in this book to be untrue, we will give you $10,000. We challenge the world to prove us wrong, and we offer $10,000 to prove us wrong. And I think that's motivation enough to get you to pick up this book and learn the facts, Jack.
Excellent, well said, well said. Casper did a fabulous job. We'll be anxious to hear, and you'll be hearing this Tuesday coming, won't you?
Absolutely.
You'll be able to talk a little bit more about it and get to know it. Now, this will be one of the, we expect to have this ongoing here for a while and to see what we can do to help support the whole movement. Did you want to say anything to that?
I just wanted to say that Casper's transportation was provided by Robert Gonzalez. I'd like to thank him for bringing Casper down tonight.
All right.
Casper's been a pleasure talking to you.
Casper Leach!
And we see that Casper is quite serious and dedicated with what he's doing and I'm impressed. Yes, now we're going to take a moment here and take a breath. If you guys want to order some drinks or anything, go ahead. And
Pushing that drive. But it is, just be safe, don't drink and drive.
but you see that he really genuinely believes that it is true what he's saying. And I appreciate his dedication. You know, he's a definite strong-willed, dedicated young guy that's going after what he believes is true, regardless of what the costs may be. He's the kind of guy that may lay down, you know, like a martyr type, you know, and give up his life. Would you do that? Would you give up your life for somebody?
For a plant, maybe, but possibly bug Derek after that. Yeah, Casper does make sense, he does.
All right, so they'll be back this Tuesday. Right now we need some refreshments up on stage, but we want to bring to the stage an issue that we've been talking about for a long time, all the different titles and all the different bands and all the different descriptions of these bands. Tonight we have an all-original band doing their alternative music, Jasmine Sunrise. Now who do we have from Jasmine to come up on stage? Well, it's been fun so far over here. We've been adjusting to our first show here at the Natural Fudge, variety format.
We'll be in SAG.
That's right. Don't forget, tonight we got the emulator, all funk. Okay, what's this guy's name? Dino from Jasmine Sunrise. Here
Dino.
welcome to Dino.
Dino?
Yeah! All right. 38.
So Dino, you got all this alternative music. Quite a guy, quite a band you've got. How long's the band been together?
What about 5 years?
5 years going with all original stuff. Who's the songwriter in that group?
He is, and me is.
Come on up, Sean Roberts.
He's Brent. Brent Wong.
We got some more seats. What's your name?
Brent Wong.
Brett Long, you're the songwriter in Jasmine Sunrise. Well,
Yeah, actually both of us.
oh, you're both right. Okay, well, since you do, can you give us, what makes this band alternative? What do you feel, how does that describe your music? Why is it different than all the rest? Can you give us some idea of what you mean by that?
Well, actually, we never said that. But, because we're different. That's why we're alternative.
Well, that's good enough. Well, that's what alternative means, is being different, of course. Well, look, I know you're coming strong on the scene, and you've got an awful lot of supporters out there, so they're not going to be following you around unless you got something really that's good. So,
What's really appealing is because we have like a really wimpy, powerful sound.
yeah, wimpy, powerful sound. That's kind of like well, are there copies in there, Bill? Do so. You know
We
that.
have a conga player here.
Oh, yeah, he's on too. Well, look, these guys are almost ready to go here. We'll get you some little more background about yourselves and where you're all from. Where's the band Civic? Here in Hollywood, or?
Basically, like we're from like Silver Lake, Echo Park.
Oh, so you're a local band.
Yeah, we're a local band.
Yeah. Well, Jasmine Sunrise, where'd that name come from? It's a great name. I mean, it's very picturesque. You must have done, look at that.
Name answer that.
Dino, it was Dino's idea.
There's a girl, it's kind of a long story that involves a girl named Jasmine. I just had a vision, and then I gave it up. Gave it up.
Do you have some record company negotiations going now, or do you have some action coming up?
No, we're too obscure.
Right now you're obscure. Well, you made a good scene down here a few Wednesdays back, about 2-3 weeks ago, at a powerful show. So tonight I hope to get some new names. Anyone out here who has not seen this band before? You have some new people out here, so perhaps get on their mailing list if you really love this music tonight. So, do you have any other, what else can we ask them here that's interesting? Do you have any? Well, that's a good point.
When we were growing up, like early teens, we were all like heavy punk rock. Like that's a lot of our But like we were raised as, with hippie music.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, the hippie music. It's hard for me to understand what that means, the hippie music. Well, we're anxious to hear this. It's kind of an up sound. You guys are very powerful, very dynamic. It's a power band.
Unorthodox power.
Well, do you have any funny stories about the band, or any incidences or something that you can tell us? This guy's
We're
got a
pretty
great
serious,
haircut.
actually.
You are serious about it. Well, we're serious about it. That's why we have them down here tonight. We're delighted to present. Well, it'll take a little while for them to get to stage.
Justin, look, he's hiding over there. He's our drummer.
Well, bring him up. Come on up, Justin, and get on.
He's funny.
Here's Justin. Bring
He's a
him up.
well-known guy.
Justin, where is he? Is he working?
Justin, there he is.
All right, here's the drummer of Jasmine Sunrise. Good evening. Well, he's going to sit right down there on that freshly painted seat, Jason.
How long have you been playing with him?
Well, this guy looks familiar. Now, he doesn't do any of the writing on the band, but he plays the drums.
Very good. He's a good drummer.
Well, they say without a good drummer, you don't really have what's needed to drive that band and make it really happen. So you're really satisfied with this band professionally.
And he's working out the best.
Oh, yeah. All
And
right.
a couple other drummers.
So your crew has got a commitment with each other. You're all together and behind it.
Yeah.
Well,
We're all digging on it.
good. I like this guy. This guy's all right. Now, this Dino's all right with me. I like this guy's stuff. Dino's got a groove here. Now, what is this? This is alternative, huh? Yeah, he's with it. Now, this music's going to be a good man.
No, we don't play alternative music. We play rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Rock and
I
roll.
thought you said rock and roll. Well, we'll see about that. Why don't we get set up? You guys ready to get started? Have you got any other interesting stories? Should we add anything?
You didn't meet Nick yet.
All right. We're gonna
Where's Nick?
Here's Nick first.
Nick's cool.
Come on up. Look at player. Here's Nick. Come on up. Good. These guys.
Tell them about yourself.
Slip over here.
He's our newest baby.
And what would y'all like to know now? Speak to me. Come on.
Take that mic, Nick. He's the conductor.
What do you want to know?
Where were you born?
New York, Borough Park, Brooklyn.
What motivates the band to keep playing?
What motivates us to keep playing? The fans.
Yeah.
The people around us. We're enjoying what they're doing, they're enjoying what we're doing.
And the heavy ring of the ears after we play, and we get off on that.
Well, that makes sense.
Like one of
It's
those
kind of almost like being drunk, but without the alcohol.
Have you guys always been together?
hemp. Like saved George Bush's life, it's gonna save mine too.
That's right, it did with that parachute. Parachute. You jumped out.
Lincoln, Washington, both be in jail for life. Both were using hemp for the furniture.
Yeah.
It's all made out of hemp. They saying back then.
How does the player know about the Hemp Society? This is unrehearsed. I mean, how does he know about the Hemp Society?
So I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna know.
Great. Are you a member of the Hemp, by the way? Oh. Well, that's a great coincidence that he knows all the same.
But I wouldn't mind being.
Well,
I heard a little bit about it.
he's here tonight. There he is, right here. Casey's taking signatures.
Slow down right on. I'd like to look through the book. I wish I could get $10,000 off you. Hey,
A lot of weed.
Well, do we have enough time to chat some more, or do we have to move on?
It's not time for a kind
We'd rather play, to tell you the truth.
All right, that sounds right. We'll play now. Get that move going. Let's take a break here and get them set up. In the meantime, get ready for that Jasmine sunrise.
Thank you.